All right, NFL spread predictions. Week 4. Um, First game of Sunday is Carolina Houston. Carolina is the 4-point underdog because they're playing in Houston and Carolina is playing their backup quarterback. Now, the backup quarterback actually played really well last week. He really did, but I do not believe that that's going to happen twice. So I think that Houston, Deshaun Watson, I think that their offense has been playing good enough to outscore Carolina. I think that Houston will probably win by a touchdown. Ever since Houston got rid of Jadeveon Clowney, they're not they're not the same team. And since Carolina's brought on Eric Reed and Gerald McCoy, their defense has gotten a lot better. Um, I still think that Houston is a better team. They're playing at home. Um, yeah, I trust Deshaun Watson for some reason. I like him. I think he's a good quarterback. So I'm gonna take the Texans at -4 on the spread. Um, Cleveland, Baltimore. This is a weird game because I don't really understand why Baltimore is favored by 7 points. Um, they're not that much better than the Browns. I'm a Ravens fan, but I'm gonna take the Browns at +7 because I think the Ravens. I think they'll win this game, but I think they'll win by maybe a touchdown. I mean, I'm sorry, maybe a field goal. Field goal. Sorry, I think they'll win by a field goal. Um, if not lose, honestly, the Ravens lose to the Browns sometimes, and like Baker Mayfield is a really good quarterback. I think if Greedy Williams and Denzel Ward are back, I think that the Browns could definitely win this game. But I think right now the Browns will probably lose by a field goal, maybe like 4 or 5 points. With 7 points is a large spread. I thought it was going to be a much smaller spread. Um, but the Ravens are heavy favorites for this game for some reason. I might even bet on Cleveland for the money line because I think it's like +250 or something. And then the Ravens are like -320 or something. It's really weird. The Ravens are very heavy favorites for this game. Yeah, so I'm definitely gonna take the Browns at +7. That's a pretty good bet, I think. Um, the Washington Redskins at New York Giants. The Giants are favorites because Daniel Jones has been playing really well lately. He's been playing much better than anyone thought he would. But I still think that the Redskins are a good team. The big question is I don't know if Case Keenum or Dwayne Haskins is starting. Now, if Dwayne Haskins is starting, then since he's a young rookie quarterback, that's a tough one. Even though Daniel Jones is also a rookie quarterback, um, I'd rather have Case Keenum playing. But if the if the Redskins can stop the passing game of the Giants, I think that they're pretty much going to shut down the entire offense because right now, with Saquon Barkley out, Wayne Gallman is the main running back. So with Wayne Gallman being the main running back, he's a pass catching running back. He's a scat back. Um, I really think that they're going to be passing the ball a lot. So if and the thing is, with Josh Norman and Landon Collins in the secondary, I really feel like this is a good matchup for the Redskins. So I might take the Redskins at um I'll take the Redskins at +3. I'll take the Redskins at +3. Even if Dwayne Haskins is starting. Next game is Chargers versus Miami Dolphins. Um The thing about this game is Miami Dolphins are terrible, and it's one of those games where you have a team that's much better than the other team, and there's a large spread. So before the spread was 16 and a half, now it's dropped down to 15 and a half because I guess people are putting money on the Dolphins. Um, I would take the Chargers to beat the 15.5 point spread just because I took the Dolphins to beat the spread last week and they didn't, and it was a 21 point spread. So I would take the Chargers to beat the 15.5 point spread. The Dolphins are just terrible, and even though Josh Rosen's been playing pretty well, um, they're just the whole team, the defense, the offense, they're just not good enough. And Josh Rosen's just too inexperienced of a quarterback to handle playing on such a horrible team. So I would take the Chargers at minus 15 and a half. Oakland versus Indianapolis. This game is also interesting because you have Jacoby Brissett and the Indianapolis Colts. So you have a good team with an average quarterback, and then you have the Oakland Raiders with Derek Carr. And Derek Carr's he's actually a very good quarterback, but the team is horrible. So it's one of those questions: is the quarterback more important or is the team more important? I always think the team is more important, and I guess other people do too because the spread is at 7 points in favor of the Colts. So I'm surprised that the Colts are such heavy favorites. I honestly think that they're going to win the game, but I think that Oakland is going to beat this +7 spread. So I'm going to take Oakland at +7. Kansas City versus Detroit. The Kansas City Chiefs are favorites by 6.5 points, so they have to win by a touchdown. I think this is an interesting number because I think they're going to win by exactly a touchdown. So I honestly would stay away from this game. If I was going to play anything, I would probably play the over because I think this is going to be a very high scoring game. When you have the Lions with Matthew Stafford and Kenny Galladay and Marvin Jones and Kerryon Johnson, and then you have the Chiefs offense. Even though Tyreek Hill's out, they're still a good offense. So I think that it's going to be a high scoring game. I think Kansas City will probably beat the spread. I think they'll beat the spread. I'm taking them to beat the 6.5 point spread. But I would probably just play the over. New England at Buffalo. Uh, I'm taking New England to beat this -7. Um, they beat a they didn't beat the spread last week, and I took the Jets to beat the spread last week, and the Jets did beat the spread. Um, but that was a 23 point spread. This is a 7 point spread, so I'm gonna take New England. I know Buffalo is undefeated and they're at home. They're just not that good. New England's on another level. Tom Brady's on another level than Josh Allen. Um, both teams have good defenses. I think this could be a low scoring game, but I think that New England will win by 10 points. I think they'll probably win maybe 27-17, something like that. So I'm going to take New England. Tennessee at Atlanta. This is another weird game I'm not really sure about. I like Atlanta a little more than I like the Tennessee Titans, but the spread is at -4. So I want to take I want to take Atlanta. So because I really don't like Marcus Mariota. I think he's a very average quarterback, and I think Matt Ryan is an above average quarterback. He's not elite like Drew Brees or Tom Brady, but he's a really, really good quarterback. I really do trust him. So I think I'm going to take the Atlanta Falcons at -4. I think they're going to beat the spread. I definitely think they're going to win the game at least. If you want to take the money line, but I just think Tennessee's offense has been playing so badly. They're just, I mean, the first game was so good against the Browns, and then ever since then they've been so bad. Um, yeah, I'm gonna take the Falcons at -4. Next game is Tampa Bay at the LA Rams. So I really, really like this spread right here because I think the Tampa Bay Bucks could keep this game close. I think there's a lot of value in betting on the Bucks for the spread. 'Cause it's some places it was at 10 for a little bit. Now it's back down to 9.5. So I think even at 9.5, I would still take the Bucks. I think they'll probably lose by a few points, maybe 3, 5. I would say 7 points tops. But 9.5, there's still some places you can get it at 10. So if you can get it at 10, that would be really good. Um, but yeah, I would say Tampa Bay Bucks at plus 9.5. I think since they added Ndamukong Suh, I think that's really added to their defense since they lost Gerald McCoy. Um, and Vernon Hargreaves hasn't really played up to that top five or whatever. He was drafted really high. Um, and there's a lot of other players on the team that just haven't lived up. Ronald Jones was a second round pick. He hasn't lived up to his potential. There's a lot of players on the team that just aren't as good as they should be. Same with Jameis Winston. He was like a number one overall pick, so he has not played good enough. The only player that's played well is Mike Evans. He's been playing phenomenal. I've always liked Mike Evans. Another one's OJ Howard. He was drafted in the first round to be their tight end, and he has not played very well for his first couple of years. So I'm gonna take, even though I just totally trashed the Tampa Bay Bucks, I still think that they're gonna beat this plus 9.5 spread. I still think that that's a huge spread, and that even though they're probably not going to win, the LA Rams are at home, which means nothing. Um, but yeah, I think 9.5 is a huge spread. So if you can get it at plus 10, that'd be good. But Bucks at plus 9.5. The next game is Seattle at Arizona. Um, it started out at -3. It's jumped all the way to -5. That's because everyone's putting their money on Seattle, and I would too. I think Seattle's a much better team. I think since they added Jadeveon Clowney, even though they lost Earl Thomas, they're a really good team. I think their offense has been playing okay. They just got rid of one of their tight ends, so now they only have one tight end on the whole team, Will Disley, who's not even that good. So that's a problem. But other than that, they are a pretty solid team. They got that tackle. What is it, Dwayne Brown, or from the Texans last year? That helped them a lot. I think they're just a better team than Arizona. I think Kyler Murray is going to take a while to develop as a player, and Larry Fitzgerald's old. Um, David Johnson's. I don't know. He's okay. He's not that impressive to me. He was really good his rookie season, but he's a good running back, but he's not like Ezekiel Elliott or one of these like really Todd Gurley or Le'Veon Bell. He's just like a step below that. So anyways, I'm gonna take um yeah, I'm gonna take Seattle at -5. Even though it sucks, we would have been better to get it at -3. There's some places I still have it at -4.5, but -5 is the main number for all the casinos. Um, Seattle at -5, yeah. Minnesota versus Chicago. I like Minnesota a lot. I think they have a potential to go deep into the playoffs this year. I think they're a really good team. Chicago hasn't been playing that well. Um, I would take, since Minnesota's an underdog, I would take Minnesota on the money line because it's a 2 point spread, which is a weird number. If it was three, I would take them on the spread, but because it's a 2 point spread, I would take Minnesota money line. I think they're gonna win this game, straight up. So yeah, Minnesota. I'll take them to beat the +2 spread and to. I just like Kirk Cousins more than Mitchell Trubisky. They have a balanced team. They have a good defense. They're good at every aspect. The Bears have an even better defense, but the offense was Stephon Diggs and they just added Quan Treadwell back, which who cares? But Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook's been playing phenomenal. They just have a really good offense. I think Kirk Cousins has been getting better and better with the chemistry between him and the receivers. And but they've also been running the ball a lot. And Yeah, I just think the balance between everything, the offense, the defense, the balance between the running game, the passing game, everything is just working really well. So I'm gonna take the Vikings. I like the Vikings here. Um, Jacksonville, Denver. Jacksonville is playing really well actually, even though they lost Nick Foles, and I like Nick Foles, but Minshew has been playing phenomenal. He beat the crap out of the Titans last week. So I really do like Jacksonville, but Denver's at home, and even though I'm not a huge Joe Flacco fan, I think he's a very average quarterback. He's not elite. Um, I I like Denver at home here. I think at home, I'm gonna take them at -3. -3 is a. eh, I think they're gonna beat the spread. I think they're gonna beat the -3 spread. So I just like the way they play at home. I think Von Miller. I think the whole defense is gonna play really well. They added what was it, Chubb? Not Nick Chubb, Bradley Chubb. They added him to the defense, and they're a much better team now. They're or a much better defense at least. I think what's his name? Well, Philip Lindsay has been playing really well at the running game, but the Cortland Sutton, the wide receiver, he's been really good since they lost to Marius Thomas. He was getting old anyways. So having him with Emmanuel Sanders has been really good. Um, I really I really like Denver at home here. So I'm gonna take Denver -3. Um, Dallas, New Orleans. Dallas is Dallas is a really good team. Um, I, I thought they were overrated going into the season, but they've actually played really well. But New Orleans, even though they lost Drew Brees, has played really well with Teddy Bridgewater. He has been a really good quarterback for just one game, but it's not like we haven't seen Teddy Bridgewater before. I've seen, we've been watching him for years, and he's a good quarterback, and he's in his prime right now. So I like Teddy Bridgewater. I like the way he's been playing. Um, but sorry, but Dallas is only a -2.5 spread, so that's not very much. They're honestly without Drew Brees. If Drew Brees was playing, I think that New Orleans would probably be like a 2-point favorite or something like that, and I'd probably take New Orleans. But without Drew Brees, he's a really good quarterback. Dallas -2.5. That's a small spread. Games are usually decided by at least 3 points. So I am gonna take Dallas at -2.5. Ezekiel Elliott's been playing phenomenal. I think the whole team's been playing great. I think Gallup, I think Cooper, I think the whole offense. Dak Prescott's playing so well. The defense has been playing great. Everyone's been playing great. Offensive line, I just like the whole team. I mean, same with the New Orleans Saints. They have a really balanced team with the offensive line. The Michael Thomas and Alvin Kamara, but without Drew Brees, it's not the same. Um, yeah, I'm gonna take that Dallas -2.5. Last game. This is the last game. Uh, it is a Monday night game. Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. I am I'm gonna have to take Cincinnati at +4. I'm surprised that the spread is so large with Mason Rudolph playing, and not Ben Roethlisberger. So that's honestly strange to me. Um, like Andy Dalton's not an amazing quarterback, but he's better than Mason Rudolph. I know Pittsburgh's at home, but I still like Cincinnati at +4. I think that's a decent spread. If it was at like +2 or something, I'd probably take. I might take Pittsburgh, but if you can take yeah, Cincinnati at +4. I mean, it's +4 across the board here. There's no other numbers. But also, I'm not sure what the money line is, but if there's a decent money line, like plus 170 or something on the Cincinnati Bengals, I would take that. Um, yeah, I mean that would be a good number. I mean, at least like maybe like plus 150 or something. Even plus 130, I would take. That's probably the lowest I'd take. But yeah, if you can find like a plus 150 on the money line for Cincinnati, yeah, but +4 is a yeah that I would take Cincinnati to beat that spread. So yeah, Cincinnati +4. So that is the end of the review.